Hi guys, Steve Mera here. Quite recently I did an interview with some great researchers from Contact International in Brazil. Um, it was very interesting because some of the information that I learned from this conversation I had was about the phenomena taking place in Brazil and some very, very profound incidents where on one occasion it seemed maybe that the phenomena altered reality to gain what it wanted. In regarding an incident that took place on one particular road where the gentleman couldn't actually escape the phenomena, in a sense of speaking, or the phenomenon. And I've talked in length about this, that on some occasions people seemingly are taken out of reality as we know it to have an encounter and then literally be placed back. In the UK we refer to this as the Oz Factor. There is other names for it. There's been listings of umbrella perception and things like that. So but it is profound when people seemingly on a busy road, there's people around, it's a Saturday afternoon as an example, there's traffic, there's cars, vehicles, and all of a sudden they see this very large craft and it interacts with them, and they, at the time of the incident, they're looking around and thinking, where's all the cars? Where's the people gone? But the environment's exactly the same. There are other incidents like this where people have literally been taken out of reality into some type of suppressed bubble of some sort within that reality, in a sense of speaking, but an area that is seemingly just lifted from the reality that we understand and accept to have this experience. And it's sometimes sounds are muffled, or there's a certain quietness or an echoey effect whilst they have these encounters with these NHI. It's very, very strange how phenomena seemingly creates this other reality, or very close. Maybe it's just one step away, to be honest with you. You know, we do know now through the experiments, not just through double slit, but triple, quad splits and others, that is a very good chance that there are multiple realities being utilized, and NHI may seemingly have the capabilities of manipulating these realities, taking you out of this reality to the next one, have you experience encounter, and then place you back, where people are kind of trying to work out what the hell has just happened. So we did have a very interesting discussion with these guys from Brazil, and they're great researchers, like I say, and they're doing some good work. And Contact International in Brazil, they have some interesting guests on. It was the first time I actually had done this show, but it was an eye opener, and I did actually enjoy it. So this is just a sneak peek of that show, but there's a lot of real good information if you actually watch the full length version, which is like, I think it's about an hour and 22 minutes or something like that. So it's well worth watching. I will put in under this video in the description the link to go and watch the full version, where you'll find out all these other details which we didn't get a chance to talk about in the sneak peek. But do click on it, go over and have a watch of it, and if you like it, give them a thumbs up and a share and like, you know, because we're all trying to do the same thing. And it's always very interesting to keep in contact with people in Brazil, because the phenomena there, what people are experiencing, the various stuff, is profoundly stranger than many other places around the world. Lots of weird, profound incidents, which are, some of them are quite alarming, and some of the strange things and experiments going on there, even ritualistic practice I'm aware of, which I have talked to before on these shows, is taking place without the safety protocols that probably are required to do so. And maybe this is why people have, you know, when we hear about tremendous bad experiences or terrible experiences taking place in South America and Brazil and other places like that, that might be the reasons why. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this video. Give it a thumbs up, guys, because it's important. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
When you say that these intelligences seem to know our limitations, what exactly do you mean with that? And specifically, when they choose to manifest the way they do, What does it mean, or what it could mean for us? Because I believe no one really knows that. Some people are closer to an answer than others, but certainly I'm not one of them. But what could it mean about the intentions of these intelligences, and in a more human perspective, what it would mean for us?
When I say limitations, I mean about human limitations. It seems that this phenomenon, be it UFO or even other things like paranormal, they break all aspects of known physics. Now, the problem is that we live in a reality. This reality that we see around us, even you looking at your computer screen or the sunlight hitting it, at 600 million miles per hour, the photons. It's a perception that the brain recognizes and puts it into a construct of reality. Reality is constructed inside the brain through our senses.
I think that no one, even the most advanced professionals, really understands the nature of reality, and it's one of the big open problems and questions in science today. We all might have ideas. We might think we know something. Our best science suggests that our imagination is not yet big enough. We need to explore further. Most of us think of reality as whatever is inside space and time. We actually know that space-time cannot be the fundamental nature of reality. But we know our best theories of space-time, Einstein's theory together with quantum theory, tell us that space-time cannot be the fundamental nature of reality. For most people, they think that space-time is the reality, and what I'm saying is it's the reality that most of us have assumed is the final reality, and science is now telling us it can't be. It tells us precisely at 10 to the minus 33 centimeters, 10 to the minus 43 seconds, the very notion of space-time makes no sense. I'm suggesting we should think of space-time as just a virtual reality headset.
Now, this mechanism of phenomena can react with the reality around us, not only interface with us personally, but interface with the reality of this experience around us, the whole reality. Now, sometimes they get it wrong.
So they are interfering with the reality, not in our senses, in reality.
It's reality. It's everything we experience. We live in this reality, a box of reality. They are outside of this box and can manipulate the inside of the box. In other words, they can change aspects of things to happen. They can manipulate your experiences and things to come. Now, what happens when you trying to understand and wrap our heads around this construct of reality that we create in our brains is that we have limitations on what we can see, what we can hear, everything. In fact, we are probably one of the most limited creatures on the planet. I mean, even your pet dog and your pet cat can see and experience more than we can. They've got better hearing, better seeing. We are very, very limited. And we're so limited that the phenomena can operate outside around us. Tiniest little bit of what we perceive compared to what the phenomena is possibly capable of doing. So this phenomena, these types of things that are happening may very well be right under our noses, and have been all the time, for a very long time. As far as we know, it goes back even before before documented histories.
We could say they are part of nature.
Exactly. It is. It's all part and parcel of what we experience in life. This is not something new. We are trying to figure out something very, very old. And we've just lost our way. We're trying to relearn this. And now we're realizing that there's a whole soup of stuff around us everywhere. And I mean everywhere. And now looking at this through quantum imaging and discovering that the very much likely phenomena is everywhere and can pop in at will and interact with anybody it chooses to do so. Now, that's a problem when it comes to trying to disclose information. What you are going to get is some forms of blocks or small chunks of disclosure showing interest in the subject, but are you really going to get? Because the people that I'm talking to up at the top levels, they're saying, we can't disclose this. We can't just drop this onto the laps of physicists and scientists and even the general public, because the complications in regarding the ecology of the earth, the economy of the earth, and religion and belief will be so impacting. It's got to be delivered over such a long period of time. And now we're starting to see the initiation take place. And this initiation is the narrative change from ET to NHI, from extraterrestrial to interdimensional. You're going to get more and more and more of this coming out at the top levels, even at the Pentagon level now. They're using all these terminology. We've moved away from the old narrative. Why? Because there's not enough evidence to support that they're extraterrestrials traveling from other planets visiting Earth. Yes, there's a few things around, but considering how many sightings there are on planet Earth in one 24-hour day is tremendous. And we are not seeing a superhighway of traffic.
Yeah.
It seems that they have the capabilities of jumping in to our reality and jumping out of our reality. And that's a real big problem in regarding how we're going to investigate these things.
And to feel safe.
And to feel safe, exactly. Yes.
I always use I use a metaphor when I try to speak about it. If I every morning I go out my home's door, and I see the same guy every day walking on the sidewalk every morning at 7 a.m. It's much more likely he lives in my town, in my city, close to me, than he lives in another country. If I'm seeing him every day, so it's close. It's not coming from far away. One, listening to you, many questions come to my head, and I have to pick one. We have it's hard to talk about what's the purpose behind all of this.
We don't know what the purpose is.
Yeah, I think this is the hardest question to do. But
it really is difficult. But what we do know is that it's been interacting with humankind for forever, in numerous different ways. Sometimes interpreted as religious things, sometimes interpreted to be demonic type things, bad things, or paranormal things, or strange creatures, or UFO, all sorts. But a very, very long time, and we don't know. I think we are the product of a test, long-term study on humanity, and not just study, but interacting and shaping and modifying in some cases. And I think this has been going on for a long time. But the reasons why, I don't know.
Yeah, I sometimes I think that maybe, I don't know, but as I said before, maybe they are just part of nature, and I don't know the purpose of nature. I don't know the purpose of a natural phenomena. Maybe they are part of nature.
Difficult.
Yeah,
it's very
but
difficult.
one thing that I would like to ask you, another thing, we have some cases with good contacts. People have healing experiences. In the other hands, we have mutilations, and it's interesting to see that in South America we have mutilations. In North America we have mutilations, but they're very similar. But the victims, the specimens, are different. In South America, it's not about cattle; it's more chickens and small animals. But it's this, and I started to think if that's some kind of geography element to it. Like we have a polar, you won't find a polar bear hunting in the Sahara, but we will have bears around the world. They behave, they're kind of the same, but with some differences.
Yes.
Maybe we are experiencing this.
Well, the experiences do differ slightly to different countries, but that's because of cultural change of belief. I mean, you don't have to look at the phenomenon. All you got to do is look at the differences in people, because the people, it drives phenomena's type of phenomena very often. In some cases, you know, when information comes out about some bad experiences, there'll be a chain of events that continue because people hear about it, believe it, and think, oh, well, if I see something or witness something, it's going to be type of the same thing. It's very likely it would be, because of, you know, the phenomenon has a very good way of learning its victims. It knows what they're thinking. It knows how to change its perception to them, to what they might think it might be. Children have reported animated toys. You know, some people have claimed to have seen big giant owls watching them, or big rabbits sat in the middle of the road. It was never a big rabbit sat in the middle of the road. It was something else, but that's how they perceived it. You know, they can change how they can be, you know, to be perceived by forcing altered perception on you at the time. Do we ever see the true face of the phenomena? I don't think so. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we do. I think even the alien grey, which has come to scene, is most derivative of the aliens now, because of its drive, its imagery, its plantation into the mind of humanity through the internet, radio, TV programs, movies. We just can't shake it. I mean, where's all the Space Brothers gone? You know, the human-looking ones. And before that, it was something different. And before that, it was the lizards, you know, the reptilians, and many different types of shapes and forms. There's actually thousands of variations. Now, some people might say, oh, well, there's only 4 types of aliens. Well, no, that's absolute rubbish. There are thousands of reported variations. But why do they have 2 eyes, 2 legs, 2 arms, a nose, a mouth? Why are they built in the same process, a genetic process, as the human, as a bipedal? All we've got to do to see something alien is go to the bottom of the North Sea, because the environment is changed so much just on planet Earth and the North Sea that the creatures down there, you know, they don't look nothing like humans. In fact, the opposite. So we science would say, because of the variations in planets and the type of gravity and the chemicals, the heat, temperature, all sorts of things, we're going to have a cocktail of very strange things, you know, if we ever witness intelligent life. Our problem is, though, is that's not the case. We always tend to be seeing these strange bipedal type creatures that vary in the thousands, but all do the same thing and all got the same technology and pretty much give the same messages. You know, if we've been told time and time again, there's a ruse that, oh yes, I come from this planet, I come from that planet, I'm an interdimensional being, I'm an angelic being, I'm from a parallel universe, I'm a scientist from another planet. The list goes on. You know, where do we come from? We come from the moon. No, we don't. We come from Venus. No, you don't. We come from Mars. No. Well, where are you coming from? We're coming from further out and out and out into space now. We're not getting the truth. They don't want to reveal. They don't want to disclose. They're just happy to go about doing their agenda, which they've been going on for a very, very long time. And they don't want to land on the White House lawn. They don't need to, because they know what's going on in the White House. I'm guarantee that. But the thing is, it doesn't act like that as we expect it to. So we can't fit it into the box of what we would expect, because it just won't work. And sometimes they do get it wrong. You know, a technological craft can come down to the ground and, you know, and people will see it. And then all of a sudden they notice, but why has it got 1930s portholes and round it and little windows and rivets?
Yeah.
The perception's been altered. It's not quite got it right. These mistakes do happen regularly. We've got to understand that it's what I said earlier. What is real in our world? You know, we'd say, well, if I can see it, it's real. Well, no, not necessarily, because we're dealing with things which is beyond the sciences, beyond the physics and understanding that we hold in this reality. We've got to try and work out about things beyond that, outside space and time, outside of our known reality, interdimensional, quantum mechanic, and things like that. You know, we've got to get our heads out of this area of thinking everything must lie within the box that we try and understand and try and work it out. We can't, because the information that we need doesn't lie in the box that we have. It lies outside it.